Things in here may not react well to bullets. This almost seems better suited to a surveillance post than a research lab.
More dead animals. Bladed backs this time. No signs of injury.
Merciful serpent. Whatever this is, it seems to be spreading. Still no word from the city about a research assistant?
Nothing. And I'm not really surprised in light of recent events.
Be patient, dear. The serpent provides. It was good to talk.
Hello. Welcome to Hamadi Station. I do hope you're here about the research assistant opening. We haven't had many promising applicants.
By which he means we haven't had any applicants.
Well, yes. Thank you for the painful reminder. Oh, love of my life. I'm Azad Dubas. My wife Shireen and I are scientists. We've been quite busy lately and are greatly in need of some help. We put out a call for a research assistant, but with recent events, we haven't had much luck.
By which he means we haven't had any luck.
This could become tiresome quickly.
So, are you interested in a little field work? Well said indeed. I've always believed that the Great Serpent looks with favor upon those who seek knowledge and enlightenment. My wife and I have been studying a recent and somewhat troubling phenomenon. You see, the local wildlife has been dying, and we're not sure why. The remains show no signs of external injury or trauma, so we can rule out most of the usual causes.
Fighting for dominance or territory, predators, hunters looking for sport, those sorts of things.
We began to see this phenomenon just after the accident in Dazra. We're convinced these events are linked, but the exact nature of the connection remains a mystery. Well, no, not yet. However, I'm confident that the process will prove the hypothesis to be correct. If you mean that we're making guesses, then yes, we are. In the absence of knowledge, we hypothesize, we theorize, and we test. Now, let's discuss your part in this process. I need you to search for corpses of local wildlife and collect tissue samples. I'll give you a biosample collector that will extract and store the samples safely. Try to collect samples from different kinds of creatures. We want to cast a wide net. Return here when you've got them, and we'll begin the analysis.
The prospect of tearing rotten flesh from animal corpses is not what I would call appetizing.
But the search for knowledge is its own reward, my friend. Now go forth and do the good work of science.
Careful what you touch. Who knows what has been going on in this lab?
Welcome back. Did you have any difficulty obtaining those tissue samples? You're not wrong about that. Perhaps a hot shower is in order. But first things first. Your arrival is well timed. Some interesting new information has come to light. I'll take those tissue samples, and here's your payment. Shireen, dear, would you tell our dauntless research assistant about the latest news?
With pleasure. I hope you enjoyed your little jaunt into the field because I'll be sending you right back out there. Some of the local farmers and growth herders have reported seeing unusual plant growth in the area. What's more, none of this unusual growth was seen before the Dazra incident. It's increasingly clear the event affected the ecosystem in some way, but the details elude us. My thinking exactly. You really are cut out for this kind of work. Based on our information, these unusual new strains aren't limited to a specific area. As such, we want to examine samples that come from several different locations. In short, the more data you can provide, the better.
Observe, analyze, hypothesize, and prove. These are the tenets of the scientific method. Without them, we're just fumbling in the dark.
Yes, thank you, dear. You'll have to forgive my husband. He's never fully recovered from his days as a teacher. I'm sure he meant no offense. Being an educator is the sort of thing that gets in your blood, so to speak. We'll get to work studying the animal tissue. Now go forth and travel safely.
Science can solve any problem.
Let us hope this laboratory has adequate safety protocols.
research assistant returns. I know we've asked you to travel far and wide. Hopefully it wasn't too much trouble. I just so happen to love digging in the dirt. As for hiring you, well, neither my husband nor I are quite as young as we used to be. I'm afraid our days of trekking across the landscape in search of nature's mysteries are behind us. Here's the payment for those plant samples. I have good news. We've got a strong working theory about what's killing the local wildlife. The tissue samples you collected point to poisoning as the likely cause of death. I'm afraid so. Needless to say, the urgency of our work has increased somewhat. The evidence suggests that some force is acting on the ecosystem, changing it somehow. We don't yet have the complete picture, but there is one tool left to us. Would you care to explain, my dear?
With pleasure. To aid in our monitoring of local conditions, we designed a multi-function sensor suite. The device records data for weather, atmospheric pressure, radiation,
Airborne particulates, seismic disturbances, gravitic fluctuations.
Could we please move on?
Oh, well, yes, of course. We placed several of these sensors throughout the area. Each device can upload its data to a slate for comparison and analysis. It's just a collection of devices fused together and running on a single power source. It's more a feat of improvisation than engineering, really. Here, take this. Transfer the data from each of the sensors and then bring the slate back to me. In the meantime, we'll see what we can learn about these unusual plant specimens. We'll solve this riddle yet.
true side. A marriage is like farewell, far traveler.
Oh, welcome back. Time to see if our sensors can peel back another layer of the mystery. Did you notice anything unusual in the environmental data? Well, that's certainly not what I was expecting to hear. Now, let's have a look, shall we? Seems mundane enough. Oh, now wait just a moment. As I suspected, the sensors simultaneously recorded a single event that produced very unusual impacts. This is our best glimpse yet into the Dazra accident and how it affected the surrounding environs. How interesting! The chronometer seemed to have gone haywire in all 4 of the devices. Even gravity itself seems to have been briefly altered. Remarkable! For one sensor, perhaps. For all 4? No, it's not possible. As unusual as the readings are, they're accurate. A rudimentary summation, perhaps, but not without merit. Your payment as promised. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what we've learned from the plant tissue samples you brought back. I thought you might say that. So, it seems that a certain local species of flora has suddenly become extremely toxic. These biochemical changes occurred with incredible speed. Notably, the first sightings of these toxic variants coincide with the incident in Daza. I'm just not sure how the strange effects of the vortex could cause plants to mutate so rapidly.
By triggering a defensive response. Countless species of fauna have evolved to develop protective mechanisms. Poisonous toxins are among the most common such adaptations.
That's true, but those adaptations evolved over generations across long spans of time. These seem to have appeared in a matter of mere days. That shouldn't be possible.
And yet, the sensors documented fluctuations in the very fabric of space and time. Who's to say what's impossible when the fundamental laws that govern our reality are altered? I'm not prepared to give up just yet. I'm confident there's a solution. It just hasn't occurred to us.
Shireen, do you remember that experimental compound you were developing?
The one designed to alter plant biochemistry? Interesting thought. I'd been theorizing about ways to create edible strains of local flora. It's possible I could alter the formula to neutralize the toxins in the affected species.
There is, however, a not insignificant complication.
I knew you were going to say that.
The experimental compound is locked away in cold storage at the botanical facility. I was growing strains of fungus and mushroom there for medicinal use, but we were attacked. A group of pirates called the Crimson Fleet took over the place, forcing us to leave. Pirates. Here, on Varun Kai. I could scarcely believe it. That might not be as helpful as you expect. House Kadik claims the pirates are a splinter faction with their own agenda. It's likely they'll be hostile to anyone outside their cadre. Go with the Serpent's blessing. We'll be waiting for you here.
It is truly a blessing to share a passion for science with the one I love. May the Great Serpent guide your steps.
Well, look who's back. And still in one piece, no less. Have you now? Well, bravo then. When Azad first suggested taking on an assistant, I'll admit that I had my doubts. I'm happy to say that you've laid them all to rest. Here you are. Payment as promised. Did you hear that, love? Our courageous research assistant has delivered yet again.
I never had a shred of doubt. Nothing inspires courage and perseverance like the pursuit of knowledge, I always say.
That is quite literally the first time I've ever heard you say that.
Well, I certainly always think it.
Yes, dear. Of course you do. No, you're very sweet. It really has been a pleasure to work with you. Thanks to you, we not only have the answer to our little mystery, but a path to resolving it. Here's a little something extra for a job well done. Best of luck in your future scientific endeavors.